Could Bo Naylor join his brother in Cleveland soon? Find out next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Saturday, June 17th. I am Frank Sample, joined by Scott White. The 5 prospects on the verge of getting called up: Christian Encarnacion-Strand, who actually played right field on Thursday for the Reds' AAA affiliate; Colton Cowser with the Orioles; Grayson Rodriguez making some noise down in the minors; Bo Naylor with the Guardians; and Michael Busch with the Dodgers. Scott, 3 names we haven't seen on here recently: Grayson Rodriguez, Bo Naylor, and Michael Busch.
Yeah, so Grayson Rodriguez, he maybe should have automatically gone in this section once he got sent down. It kind of felt too obvious, but now his roster rate is down basically at the same level of Christian Encarnacion-Strand. And his most recent minor league start was very impressive. Struck out 10, had 28 swinging strikes according to StatCast, which is the most for any AAA pitcher this year. And he does seem to have a plan for getting back to the majors. He said, it's getting back to commanding the fastball down in the zone, up in the zone. I kind of shied away and went soft a lot, threw a lot of cutters, and that's really not my game. I'm getting back to the basics and establishing the fastball and putting guys away. Also said he needed to work on the shape of his breaking balls. I think he's still the best pitching prospect in baseball, and we'll see him again pretty soon. Bo Naylor, look, the Guardians have always had a very high threshold for what they expect from their catchers defensively, and I think that's the main thing that's held Bo Naylor back. But they've been going with Mike Zunino, who's a 182 hitter over the past 5 years, even worse than this year. And they have major offensive shortcomings. Like they could use offense, an injection of offense anywhere they could get it. Bo Naylor would provide that at catcher. And besides, Zunino doesn't rate as a very good defender anymore anyway. So it seems like this is going to happen soon. Naylor was a 2020 catcher last year, which is obviously not something we often see. He got his first 2 stolen bases of the season Wednesday. I don't know where they've been all year, but he got 2 in one game. It's something he's still capable of doing. Obviously, we've been seeing a lot of them in the majors. And so I remain hopeful that he'll be a contributor in that area when he gets there. He probably needs to be, because he's not a great source of batting average, but he does get on base a ton. That's Bo Naylor. We're stashing away in 2 catcher leagues. Michael Busch, we saw him up in the majors earlier this season, playing just kind of a part-time role when they had some injuries. And then he got sent back down to AAA and didn't do much for a while, but he has been on fire lately, hitting a bunch of long home runs. You go to the article, the latest prospects report of mine, you'll find links to some of these videos of the home runs, but they're very impressive. And he's been playing exclusively third base in June, which is interesting because the Dodgers third baseman Max Muncy is currently dealing with a hamstring injury, and there have been kind of conflicting reports about how serious it is. Doesn't sound like he'll go on the IL, but I don't know. Michael Busch seems like a ready-made replacement if that happens. I know we're focusing on the new guys here, so we skip past Christian Encarnacion-Strand, but I do want to key in on him again, because what he's been doing, it's been amazing all year, but it just keeps getting better and better. And these are the numbers through Wednesday, so they're probably a little outdated now. But so in his first 28 games at AAA this year, Encarnacion-Strand had 3 walks versus 36 strikeouts. Pretty bad plate discipline and closer to typical for him. But in his last 16 games, 18 walks versus 11 strikeouts. He's completely inverted it. The plate discipline, much more patience at the plate. And you know what? Hasn't changed his production at all. In fact, he now is hitting .325 over his minor league career. And among players who've gotten at least 800 plate appearances in their minor league career, only 10 other than Encarnacion-Strand have hit at least .325. And it includes guys like Mike Trout, Vladimir Guerrero, Wander Franco, Julio Rodriguez, Jose Altuve. That's half the 10 right there. And that's what Encarnacion-Strand is doing with bat. Like he's excelling in every way a hitter can right now. Even batting average, which we don't even think of as being part of his game. We think of Encarnacion-Strand as this hulking slugger, which of course he is, but I don't know. We may be selling a ceiling short, and I hope the Reds, they've been so aggressive with their prospect call-ups this year. I hope they find a way to get them in the lineup soon.
All right, the 5 prospects on the periphery. These are players doing something of note. Jonathan Aranda, a second baseman with the Rays. Pete Crow Armstrong, an outfielder with the Cubs. Jacob Misiorowski, a starting pitcher with the Brewers. Drew Thorpe, another pitcher with the Yankees. And Davis Schneider, a third baseman with the Blue Jays. But if you want to find out about those, you're going to have to read about it on the site because we're all done. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Audacy app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we'll be back again on next week. Bye-bye.